Now, the news for South Mississippi. WLOX News at 6.
WLOX News is taking action with the community to help put a stop to bullying. Good evening and thanks for joining us. You know, there really are so many children out there tonight who are hurting because they're the victims of bullying. Tonight, WLOX News is battling bullying. Right now, our Stop Bullying Hotline is open for you to call in and talk with folks on the front lines in the battle against bullies. That number is 228-385-2676. We encourage you to call our experts for advice and guidance. We all know bullying can be extremely destructive. It can leave your child in tears or even worse. And many times they're reluctant to tell you what's going on. Assignment Education reporter Trang Pham Bui joins us tonight with the story of two victims.
As parents, we send our children to school to get a good education and make friends. But when a bully enters the picture, it can make a child's life a living nightmare. As you are about to hear, the scars can run deep and last a lifetime. The shoving and taunting in this public service announcement drive home that bullying happens and it hurts. Like many parents, Jeff Lamar has watched videos like this before, but he never took them seriously.
Never paid attention to it, but now it has really opened my eyes because it's hit so close to home. It was right on the side right here.
Lamar says his 12-year-old daughter was beaten up by another girl.
She had a red spot and some bruising on her middle left-hand side. It was her right knee was red, swelled up just a little bit.
It happened on April 25th as his daughter was walking home from a bus stop.
There was another little girl that got off with her, and she was being instigated on the bus, asking my daughter if she wanted to fight. Hey, let's fight. And when they got off the bus, she pushed her down, started kicking her, hitting her. It's infuriating.
Lamar told us it all started with some teasing and name-calling.
Then it escalated to some pushing, shoving, being locked out of classrooms. It affected her school grades. It got to the point where she didn't want to go to school. You know, she despised having to get up to go to school.
I was traumatized. I was really scared.
Tony Best endured the same turmoil 48 years ago.
Oh, I missed a tremendous amount of school. I would cry the night before just until, you know, Mama would let me stay home because I was physically sick because I was so scared.
Best says his troubles began during his freshman year at Moss Point High School. He started shop class and made instant enemies.
There was pieces of metal we were told not to weld on. They were teaching us how to weld. And when the teacher was gone, several of the guys started welding on that piece of metal. So I thought I did the right thing. I told the teacher.
Best was labeled a snitch.
They said, Best, I'm going to whip your ass after class.
Best says the threats continued every day. He was able to avoid getting into fights, but the anxiety and stress overwhelmed him.
Every day after class, that's exactly what I would do, is get out. And it got to be so bad that even the night before school, when it was coming time for bed, I would get a knot in my stomach, knowing that when I went to sleep, the next morning I was going to get up and face them again. I was more like a chubby kid, you know, which even made it worse, being bullied because of that.
Best went out for football and started lifting weights. The bullying stopped, but the pain and trauma still haunt him.
It has followed me all through my life. I just always had a fear, and it was anxiety of something that probably would never happen. But I had that fear of getting in a fight.
Best believes the bullying drove him to alcohol.
When they're threatening to whip you, it makes you scared inside. It turns your insides out, and you're just miserable. So when you get alcohol or something like that, that seems to kind of calm you down.
Best has turned his pain into hope for others.
One of the biggest problems we face today is prescription drugs.
After working as a police officer, security director, and law enforcement chaplain, he now counsels people who are battling drug and alcohol problems.
Keep us, Father, from those things that are intended to hurt us. I know now that I was allowed to go through those situations, so now I can help others.
And he has this message to all bullies.
they need to stop and think about what they're doing, you know, and they're causing problems that can last a lifetime.
Testing the rest of this week, though, right?
Yes.
Jeff Lamar says since the attack by the bus stop, his daughter has not had any more problems with bullying. He and his wife have met with the school principal and teachers to come up with a plan to protect their child.
And so far, we've been happy with the way that they've handled it now. It is scary. Before this happened, you see it on TV, people being bullied, and you think, oh, that's, you know, it doesn't affect me. But when it does happen to your child, then you start seeing it everywhere.
According to a national survey in 2010, about 20% of high school students reported being bullied at school. By the way, Mississippi's anti-bullying law went into effect that same year. It requires every school district in the state to adopt a policy addressing bullying or harassing behavior and setting up a system to report and investigate abuse.
Thanks, Strang. Elsewhere in the news, 3 high school students were injured, at least one seriously, in an accident in Pass Christian this afternoon. It happened on Cunningham Road shortly before 4 o'clock this afternoon. School officials tell us a SUV carrying 3 Pass Christian high school students was involved in a wreck with a pickup truck. All 3 students did sustain injuries. Harrison County Fire Marshal Pat Sullivan tells us 2 were transported to the hospital. A 3rd had to be life-flighted to the trauma unit over in Mobile. Jackson County Interim Sheriff Charles Britt is speaking out on his decision to join forces with the Met team. It was announced just last Friday that the Sheriff's Department and the Ocean Springs Police Department would be uniting with the South Mississippi Metro Enforcement Team's fight against drugs. Patrice Clark joins us live from the Ocean Springs Police Department with the very latest on this story. Patrice.
Good evening, Dave. You're right. Ocean Springs Police Department and the Jackson County Sheriff's Department are joining the Met team. Now, the last time all these departments were on one team was in 2012. And of course, everyone split up due to a narcotics task force shooting cover-up. And of course, they severed ties with the then Sheriff Mike Bird. And then Moss Point, Pascagoula, and Gaucher formed the Met team. Sheriff Charles Britt told me in his office today that it was time to mend those broken relationships and get back to business, and that is sweeping drugs and crime off the streets. And he admits it is hard doing it with a small team.
Our biggest problem was the manpower. Obviously, 2 to 4 people cannot work an entire county the size of ours effectively for narcotics enforcement. We could move throughout the other cities, and if something come up, we could move through. They had the handicap where they couldn't actually go out into the county jurisdictions.
And now, how large will it be? How many people from each department?
I believe their manning requirements are 2 agents and a narcotics dog or an interdiction person. Now, they may be a little more, a little less starting out for some agencies.
Sheriff Charles Britt also told me that he's working to secure grant funding to help the team, and Pascagoula will be the lead agency. Reporting live from Ocean Springs, Dave, back to you.
All righty, we appreciate that. Patrice, another warm, dry day all across South Mississippi. Let's go over to Mike Reeder right now for a look at this evening's forecast.
Well, I tell you what, I hope you like warm and dry, because I think we're going to be with that for a while.
Lots of it.
Lots of it. The only thing is, and I keep saying this, probably sound like a broken record, but the humidity is rising. Here's what it looks like outside right now, looking north from the IP Casino Resort and Spa Tower Cam. Hey, not a bad looking evening shaping up. As far as what we expect to see, temperatures, we think we'll get down to about 65. Let's just say mid 60s. It might vary 1 or 2 degrees, but the thing is, we're going to be mostly clear, maybe some patchy fog in the morning right around sunrise. Not going to be a big issue. WLOX 24/7 radar, needless to say, nothing going on there. So as we look at things, again, increasing humidity, breezy and warm, especially in the afternoon. The winds will kick up a little bit, and then that patchy morning fog's the only fly in the ointment. When I come back, we'll look at the forecast for the rest of the week.
Thank you, Mike. Still to come tonight, a new major tenant coming to the Port of Gulfport. Find out what worldwide company is coming to the coast and how many jobs are coming with it. And our Stop Bullying hotline is still open for you to get answers and help. The number is on the screen right now. We encourage you to call. Stay with us.
The news for South Mississippi continues. WLOX News at 6. Sponsored in high definition exclusively by Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. Start with Gulf Coast. Finish with confidence.
As you can see right there, experts and counselors are in our newsroom right now, ready to help any family in need of help with bullying, whether it be what to do about a bully or how to talk to a bullied child. WLOX News is here to help. Just call the number on your screen right now to speak with someone on our Stop Bullying hotline. That number again, 228-385-2676. McDermott International is making a big investment down at the Port of Gulfport. That company, which supplies the oil and gas industry, will build a $25 million pipeline finishing facility at the port. As Steve Phillips reports, it means 100 new jobs and signals a shift in the port's strategy for the future.
Significant level of
port leaders and a host of dignitaries welcomed McDermott with open arms and great expectations.
It is a big day for the port. Certainly, this is part of our diversification strategy to be able to bring a company in like McDermott, a global name in the industry.
News of this major new tenant comes just 5 days after Chiquita announced it's leaving Gulfport for New Orleans. But clearly the focus here is the future.
Dedicated to one belief: the proposition that this port would be successful and that we will reach our goal, the jobs requirement into the future.
Job creation doesn't come easy. It comes with a lot of hard work, a lot of persistence, a lot of determination, and a lot of teamwork.
McDermott leaders say easy access to deep waters in the Gulf made Gulfport a good choice.
We've been around for over 90 years. Right? We have been changing with the industry, as it appears that you all are trying very hard to do with the port facility here as well.
Oil and gas service industry is one that we've not been involved in before. And I think when people in that sector see what we have to offer and what we can provide, hopefully it'll spur development there.
Not only will McDermott International create 100 permanent jobs with its new port facility, but it will also use ILA labor to load the finished pipe onto ships headed offshore. The president of the ILA local welcomes this good news in the wake of the Chiquita pullout.
Chiquita was a huge letdown. We just keep moving forward, you know. Chiquita's made their announcement. Now we're just looking for other tenants and other man hours to replace Chiquita.
Construction on the new McDermott port facility begins next year. It will be operational in 2016. Steve Phillips, WLOX News.
And along with the McDermott investment, port officials also announced some other good news today. The port has entered into a memorandum of understanding with another unnamed company and is currently negotiating to bring that business to the Port of Gulfport as well. Up next tonight, the strike continues at Stennis, but a change may be in the future.
Tonight on WLOX News at 6:30.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any lower after a wild weekend, how ugly is the McDaniel-Cochran race looking now?
It's tonight on WLOX News at 6:30.
Name calling, teasing, spreading rumors, those are all forms of bullying. You might not think that bullying is a crime, but it can be. Right now, you can call our Stop Bullying hotline to speak with local law enforcement agencies about this widespread problem. The hotline number is 228-385-2676. As you can see, our counselors are on the line right now. Day 4 of the strike at Stennis Space Center brought some encouraging news to those walking the picket lines. Union workers with the local chapter of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers have been picketing the north and south gates of Stennis since midnight Thursday. They went on strike to protest Lockheed Martin's plan to convert their pension plans into 401k retirement plans. Today, the workers said they found out that Lockheed officials wanted to meet with union representatives again. They were not told why, but the picketers are cautiously hopeful for a favorable resolution. The union rep said the meeting could possibly take place tonight, but more than likely sometime tomorrow. Stay with us here on WLOX News at 6. Mike Reeder and your extended forecast coming up next.